I know this movie is not available to see in theaters at the moment, but it will be available to stream for free. I'm sure in a couple months. It was just released on Amazon Prime to purchase, and I have to talk about it. I do believe this film is going to get multiple nominations for the Oscars, and rightfully so, because this movie is masterful. So the theater we saw it in actually was in the same exact neighborhood where the film takes place, and I did not plan this. It was purely coincidental. It was the last day that this movie was going to be in theaters, and just by chance, it was at the Regal in the East Village. Which is exactly where this movie takes place, so that was pretty cool. For all of you that have seen the film or have seen the trailer, you'll know that the Brooklyn Carousel is prominent in the film, and I frequently go to the South Street Seaport and in the Wall Street area, which is actually pretty close to right across from the carousel in Brooklyn, so I thought I'd get some footage, so that was pretty cool. I definitely want to check that out sometime because I personally have never been, but it just seems so wonderful, and it is a really poignant part in the film. Living here, it was really nice to see the certain areas that they shot in, and I could tell why certain areas were pretty important to Celine's song. It was a very autobiographical film, so it just felt really authentic and incredibly connected to this city. Even though I wouldn't say New York is technically like a character, like it is in some films, you could say, but it's definitely very present. It's one of the most powerful films I've seen in years. It's superficially quiet, yet the subtext is bold, thought-provoking, and incredibly loud. Past Lives not only brings the whole what could have been concept to the forefront, it is also so much more. It really discusses the past versions of ourselves. You know, when you're a certain age, you're not the same person you were 20 years ago. You're not the same person you were 5 years ago or a year ago. We're constantly changing and having different versions of ourselves. And those little versions of ourselves or younger versions of ourselves still exist within us, but they are not a good representation of how we've grown or how we've progressed throughout life. And this really explores that. Each past version of ourselves simultaneously dies as well as flourishes the future versions of ourselves. And it was beautifully executed in this film. The score for this film was absolutely perfect. It was created by two members of this indie Brooklyn band called Grizzly Bear, and it was constantly present but not overbearing, and it really just elevated certain emotional beats throughout the movie, and in such a simplistic, haunting, mysterious way, in a longing way, again really elevating the emotions that everyone's maybe feeling but not saying, and it was just perfect. I will say when you first watch this movie, for the beginning, there are a lot of subtitles. It does take place in Korea. That slowly changes throughout the movie. There are moments in the film where there are subtitles because one of the characters isn't that well versed in English, but that actually really suits the storytelling and these characters and the distance that is there throughout the movie and in these relationships, and almost he really feeds into the character development, I'd say. So if you were kind of weary of subtitles, the majority of them are in the beginning of the film, and then they are sprinkled throughout the rest of the film. Personally, I don't really ever notice them, but I know for some people that is an issue. But please do not see this dubbed. My goodness, dubbing is the worst, and it's a crime against humanity to watch movies dubbed instead of with subtitles. I had a feeling that I would maybe tear up at the end of this movie. It just kind of seemed like one of those films, but what wound up happening was, and this is no spoilers, because I really want you guys to go into this film as blindly as possible. The emotions that came through me really just kept creeping and creeping and creeping, and this magical thing happens at the end of the film where it hits you so hard. And I was quietly sobbing in my seat, and it was all because of the directing. What Celine Song did with the end of this film is just beautiful. I didn't see having such a strong reaction to the end of this film. I really didn't. I kind of even, I've seen a billion movies, and it's like you can kind of predict when a moment's going to hit you. I did not see this coming at all, and it was really because of the genius of Celine Song's directing. My goodness, that movie left me speechless. I had to wipe tears from my face. The entire audience kind of just sat there in awe of this spectacle and this magical movie making moment, which is why we all go to the movies. I beg you all to check this movie out. It is not only an achievement in filmmaking for a first-time director, it is an achievement in filmmaking history. My goodness, the history of cinema, this movie is going to play a huge role, and will be taught in film classes. There's no question about it. Not only is Celine Song's directing why this movie is so masterful, but it is also due to her writing. There are moments of dialogue that are so profound in this film, and you're watching these people have conversations, and you're internalizing everything that they're saying, and the way they are saying them, and everything that is going on, and the choices that these characters are making. It is so fantastic. The script is so good, and I can't wait to purchase it, to read it, because I'd love to see just it written on a page. As soon as the film finished, I was so inspired to return to one of my screenplays that I've been working on immediately. It sparked such inspiration in myself, and I'm sure if you are a writer or an aspiring filmmaker or actor, if you see this film, I can't imagine you not feeling inspired and just wanting to jump to write things down on a page. It really has that big of an impact. So as far as award season goes, Greta Lee, the lead actress of this film, will absolutely get a Best Actress nomination. My goodness, her performance is precious and just lovely. And I just absolutely loved her in this film. I would hope that both TOU and Jonathan Morago get nominations as well. I could definitely see Jonathan Morago getting a nomination for Best Supporting Actor. I think it might be a little bit more difficult for TOU to get a Best Actor nomination, just because the category this year is going to be so competitive, and it might be difficult for him to land that 5th spot or 4th spot. But either way, he absolutely deserves a nomination as well, because his performance was also just wonderful. It's absolutely getting a Best Picture nomination. Celine Song, I would be shocked if she does not get a Best Director nomination. I think that's probably going to absolutely happen, as well as a Best Original Screenplay nomination for her. My goodness, I cannot recommend this film enough. It is, again, I think it might be my favorite film of the year. I know the year is not over, but it is definitely up there in the top 2, top 3 of this year. Sincerely, if you are tired of unoriginal stories and inauthentic storytelling, my goodness, watch this film. Stick to A24 films. I really try to support those, because then you get gems like this that are just take your breath away. I was speechless after this film, and I just kept internalizing everything I saw. It's relationships are complicated, and everyone has a past. There's so much more I could say about this movie. If you want to discuss this movie, let me know. I just really don't want to put too much in this review, especially when it comes to the psychology of these characters and what happens, because I really do think you guys should go in as blindly as possible, as I said before. But once it gets closer to Oscar season, I maybe I'll do a live stream or something about this with fellow people that have seen this movie, because it is just I can't praise it enough. So as I do in all of these, just give it all the Oscars. Just give this movie, oh my God, I mean, at least give it nominations for them, because it deserves it. This film needs to be recognized, and I'm sure it will be. Again, the history of cinema will look down at this film as being one of the best films ever made. I know for a fact. I mean, it is. Bravo, Celine Song, bravo. And it's really great to see a female director, first-time filmmaker, just doing something so authentic and so well done, and getting recognized for that. It's lovely. So I'd love to hear in the comments, have you seen Past Lives? Are you looking forward to seeing Past Lives? I mean, this movie, I saw it late June, and it's still, I get emotional just thinking about it. My goodness. So please let me know your thoughts down below. And as always, thanks for stopping by.